Welcome, friends,
to the How-To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
And I'm Uncle Dan.
And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is the first step into a larger, better world.
But it can also be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Never fear. That's why we're here.
We're your audio uncles. And with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields,
we're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
After all, you only get the one that we know of, so you better make the most of it.
And Skippy.
Well, guess what?
What?
We are Douglas again, Uncle Dan.
Oh, my goodness. He has abandoned us and left us to our own devices,
yes.
which he knows is a terrible idea.
He knows we cannot be trusted to be left alone with this thing.
It's so true.
It is a blizzard here in Utah, so we have dispatched the Saint Bernards with the brandy slung underneath their chins. So,
I actually drank all the brandy.
Well, then Doug's going to have no interest in the Saint Bernards, I'm afraid. So. But we have invited a special guest to do a segment in his stead and to join us, and that guest is our friend Lauren O'Neal. Hello, Lauren.
Hello.
It's
Welcome.
amazing. Welcome. Thank you so much for filling in. Doug is in full dereliction of his duties, so we needed someone to come on and fill those shoes. And
thank
you're
you so
here
much for having me.
to do it so admirably.
Yes, we're very looking forward to you joining us. You're going to do a segment on something. Tell us something tasty.
If you're not a vegetarian, yes.
Or if it's kosher.
If it's kosher, yeah. No, what is it? No rabbits, no turtles, no snails, no whatever. But
no ossifrages.
Yeah. But I am going to tell you about some beasts of the Bible.
Yay!
Love it.
That's
Critters.
two of my favorite words: beasts and Bible.
It's delightful.
Yeah, and then Dan, you're going to do a thing.
Yeah, I'm going to talk some politics in these United States, in the history of these United States, and we'll see if we can draw any. There won't be any parallels to current things because we fix problems and then we move on, right?
Yeah, and history never repeats, does it?
Never ever.
One of my favorite things about history: never repeats.
Yeah, never repeats. Doesn't
always
even rhyme.
the same every time.
Yeah, and
or
then we're going to look. We did a segment a few weeks ago on Mormon Conference and the very particular hypnotic weirdness of all that.
Yeah,
and look, in the interest of fairness, we have invited several people on for a rebuttal. So just stay tuned at the end of the show for that, because I think we want to present both sides as an equally valid argument. So stay tuned for that. And honestly, Uncle Doug is fine. He will probably be back next week. But he's just kind of wound around his day job right now. So
he is absolutely not stranded in the middle of Death Valley, currently looking for
so
a way
please,
out.
Nobody worry. And with that, let us do a show.
Hey, Uncle Mark.
Yeah.
You know, it's not great weather right now here in Salt Lake City.
No, well, if you like a very Christmassy sort of vibe, it's great weather. But,
yeah. But I'll tell you what it's not good for. It's not good for going to the zoo. But I do kind of love going and watching imprisoned animals be bored.
Well, I like this. I like going to the zoo this time of year because it's when they release the snow leopard.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's because it's so cute.
And
stalking the children.
Yeah, it culls the herd, as they say here in Utah.
Really, really fun stuff. Well, we got a very special treat.
Yes.
Planned. Why don't you introduce who you've brought?
Well, as we've said in the introduction, we have our very special friend Lauren O'Neal to join us this week, and I think that we, Dan, and the absent Doug, are biblical amateurs, dilettantes. I think
we dabble,
but I think Lauren is a bit more than that.
Lauren went
That's
pro.
That's very flattering. I don't know if it's true.
I feel like you went pro. I feel like you read the whole thing at least, which is better than I've done.
Yeah. I have.
Yeah, and you've read it quite a bit on the air in your own podcast, Sunday School Dropouts.
Indeed.
But there's a very special sort of part of the Bible you want to talk about today.
Yeah, and that part is aminals.
Yay! and they all are happy and treated well, and everything's fine.
Yeah, that's the main thing to know about animals in the Bible.
Animal welfare is very big in the Bible.
And you can use their jaws as weaponry.
True.
If you need to.
True. You can pull beehives out of lions. It's really extraordinary. But, okay, so I listened to your episode where you were talking about the animals that are clean and unclean in Leviticus.
Yes.
Oh, did we even get through that episode? Because all I can remember is laughing so hard I was crying.
The word weasels really got you.
You could put a gun to my head and said, is the word weasel in the Bible? And with 100% surety, I would have said no.
So something you pointed out in that episode that I had never realized is they go into such detail about different species of birds, right? There's
oh my God,
owls and screech owls and night owls, and there's cranes and herons and ibises and whatever.
Ossifrages.
But then fish are just fish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is so extraordinary when you think about the disciples were fishermen.
Right. And the most, and like the fish kingdom, or if that's a thing, is like the most like morphically diverse group of animals. Like,
surely they knew the difference between some fishes, right?
Like octopus and a trout.
I mean, they did separate out the ones with shells.
Yeah,
fins and scales versus non-fins and scales.
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, so weasels. You were reading from the King James version.
Yeah.
So something that's interesting is a lot of animals. We have these old Hebrew words from the Old Testament, and we're not exactly sure how to translate them. And so sometimes, for instance, there's this animal that's mentioned called the re'em in Hebrew. And in the King James version, it's often translated as unicorn.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, like in the NIV, it's translated as wild ox.
What?
Yeah.
They're trying to kill the unicorns?
Well,
I don't approve of this.
No. They're not trying to kill them.
So wait, so I'm not supposed to covet unicorns?
You are you're not supposed to tame them. Only God can tame them.
Well, that's the truth.
Which Bible did you grow up with, Lauren?
I grew up with the NIV.
Okay. Well, whatever.
So you didn't even know that there were unicorns?
Nope. Never heard of them before now.
Oh, okay.
Just doing research for this episode. That was the first time I encountered unicorns. No, but so, sometimes, for example, something is a serpent or a basilisk in the KJV, and in more modern translations, it'll be a cobra or a viper. But they try to do like more realistic translations now.
Right.
I'm not sure about
which sounds like a cheat to me. They're just like, you guys, nobody's believing this basilisk thing. Can we come up with something else? Let's call it a cobra. Okay.
But there is actually one instance of kind of the opposite of that, where there's this Hebrew word tanin, and in the Bible, still in modern translations, it's translated as like sea monster or monster of the deep. But in modern Hebrew, it just means crocodile.
Oh.
So like you could translate it as crocodile, but they don't.
Interesting. Well, it sounds like they just tried to change the Hebrew so that it would make more sense.
I mean, maybe like just a bunch of British guys in the year 1600 didn't know Hebrew that well.
Right.
Like, who knows?
Under the direction of a gay king, I think it's important to point out. Yeah.
Which is why he wanted language to be so flowery and pretty.
That's right. Because that's how we are.
So, one of the most interesting passages in the Bible for animals is this big speech that God gives to Job at the end of the book of Job, where basically, Job is like, okay, why did you do all this? Why did you like kill all my family and destroy all my crops and give me boils and whatever?
I think that's a reasonable question.
Yeah.
It does seem like, you're not asking too much to ask that.
Right. But God's answer is basically like, I'm God and you're not. So
right. Go fuck yourself.
Sucks to be you. Yeah. But the way he says that is very poetic. I mean, the poetry is actually really beautiful. The passage is very beautiful. The sentiment is abhorrent, but he basically goes through and he's like, were you there when I, created the ocean and the stars? Like, can you cause earthquakes? No? Well, then you don't know. You don't have any grounds to question my authority.
Right.
But he goes through all these animals and he's like, do you make sure the baby ravens are fed? Do you know when the deer gives birth? Like blah, blah, blah. And he goes into a bunch of
sounds a little bit like a 70s folk song. You know when the baby ravens are fed.
It honestly does. That's like, I mean, I feel like 70s folk songs took a lot from the Book of Job.
It's a Cat Stevens song, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a really cool passage because he goes into all these mythical animals too.
Right.
So he starts with the ravens and the deers and whatever. But then he gets into like the Leviathan.
Right. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me pull up the passage.
Yeah, we talked a bit about the Leviathan when we were talking about Spooky Bible, right, Dan?
Yes.
Like the description was very bizarre.
Yes. Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook or tie down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord through its nose or pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? Will it make an agreement with you for you to take it as your slave for life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird or put it on a leash for the young women in your house?
What?
God, are you drunk? Are you drunk, God?
Et cetera, et cetera. And, the point is, I created this sea monster and I can tame it, I can kill it, I can do whatever I want because I'm God.
That's just nuts.
Yeah. The behemoth is also mentioned.
Yeah.
And the behemoth, this is actually the only time in the canonical Bible that the behemoth is mentioned.
Is in this speech at the end of Job?
And it's, look at behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loin. What power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. Don't know if it really means the tail or not, but, The sinews of its thighs are close knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs like rods of iron. He also mentions the tanin, which I mentioned earlier.
That's a crocodile.
Yeah, crocodile or sea monster,
or
however
sea
you want
monster.
to say it.
Well, I guess if you don't really know what a crocodile is, this looks a lot like a fucking sea monster.
I mean, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting about the tanin is it's mentioned far more often than the Leviathan in the Bible.
Right.
So we all know the word Leviathan. No one's ever heard the word tanin, but it's mentioned far more often. And something I think is really interesting about it is it also appears in other Mesopotamian mythology.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
So in the Baal cycle, you remember our good buddy Baal.
I love Baal.
He's,
big fan of his work.
Yeah.
He had a lot of fans among the ancient Israelites, unfortunately for them.
Yeah.
But in the Baal cycle, the Tanin is a servant of the sea god Yam or Yamu. And Yam still means ocean in modern Hebrew.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's interesting that there's this other, there's just this kind of monster in there that's just kind of like, I don't know, the Cyclops or, a centaur or something. It's like from another culture or also existed in other cultures. And you can find it in the Bible if you look hard enough.
Yeah, it is fascinating that I love that, they just took one of the monsters from one of the other religions and threw that in. But
I mean, it's probably more like it was in both of them, and then Judaism grew away from that or whatever.
Right.
But also, when you read the accounts of the Leviathan and the behemoth and whatever, it talks as though we, the reader, should know what what he's talking about. Like the way it's presented is just like, and also the eagle, and what about the giraffe, and also the Leviathan?
Yeah.
Like it's I feel like there's a J.R.R. Tolkien element to this that we're not acknowledging.
It's
in
like
some way.
the Bible extended universe.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like you were saying how, okay, well, now it's not sea monster anymore. It's crocodile or whatever. It seems like there's this, somewhere along the line, and it's probably all those English guys in 16 whatever, decided this is way too fantastical. We've got to kind of lean towards the real a little bit. Is that kind of what you think went on, or?
I mean, I think that's probably a trend in modern Bible translations. But looking at the original Bible, I think it just actually kind of reveals that there is this pre-Judaic history there that we have kind of just like erased and pretended it's not there, but it's still in there,
Yeah.
Well, and they just believed in monsters.
I mean,
it seems
yeah.
like they were. This is
Yeah.
a book from a time when they believed in crazy monsters.
And honestly,
so-
if you didn't know anything about biology and you saw a whale,
Oh my God.
like, what would you think?
It'd blow your mind.
Yeah, it's a sea monster.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Lilith is mentioned in the Bible. I believe she just is mentioned once by name, right?
In the canonical Bible, yes.
Yeah. But she's like a Mesopotamian creature, right?
Yeah, a night demon.
Yeah.
But in like the NIV, Lilith in that passage is translated as like screech owl or
right. That's right. She's an angry bird.
yeah, she's a bird of the night.
That's one of our conclusions from like our readings of the Bible, Lauren, is that it's big into ointments. And
Oh yeah, ointments are huge.
Ointments it's a big business, and a
Nard especially.
totally.
One of my favorite ointments.
Little
of all time.
good spikenard. Everybody loves a good spikenard.
And I don't know how to say this, or arachnophobia, like fear of
or ornithophobia.
ornithophobia,
Yeah.
fear of birds.
Fear of birds.
There's like a tremendous phobia about birds in the Bible.
So I have another mythical bird for you.
Oh, good.
It's called the Ziz. Have you ever heard of him?
What is it? How to say it again?
The Ziz or Ziz in Hebrew. It's spelled Z-I-Z.
Oh no.
I like a ziz.
It's you have your behemoth on the land, you have your leviathan in the water, so you need a Ziz in the air.
Yeah.
And the Ziz is mentioned in the canonical Bible a few times, but it's usually translated as a swarm of insects.
Oh.
But outside of the Bible, so the cool thing about Judaism that those of us who are not from Judaism often don't understand
Because they have
that in
so many
addition-
holidays.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
But also, in addition to the Tanakh or the Bible, there's all these rabbinical texts, right? There's like the Talmud, there's the Mishnah, there's all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And that all expands on not only on philosophy and on theology, but also on mythology and folklore.
Right.
So disease is maybe a swarm of insects in the canonical Bible, but outside of the Bible, there's a rich tradition of disease as this gigantic bird.
Oh wow.
Who, like when he stands in the ocean, it only comes up to his ankles and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I love it.
And, I guess she once laid an egg that, crushed an entire forest or whatever.
This would make a great high school mascot.
Totally.
I feel like the East Valley Zizes are just begging to happen.
And something interesting, actually, this would be good for high school students because there's a bunch of stories about the Z's helping out young couples in love.
Oh.
Where the Z's will, the princess is locked in a tower or whatever, and the Z's will fly her suitor up to the tower so they can, study Torah together or whatever.
Oh, so he's not, or she's not, or whatever they are, that is not hostile.
In those stories, no. There might be other stories where it is hostile. I don't know.
I think it's a nice. I feel like it's just a very nice, terrifying mythical bird.
I love it. Yes.
Do we? Could this be the origin of the stork? In kind of Western, not even folk.
You know, I have no idea. I hadn't thought of that.
You mean the delivering babies part of the
yeah?
story?
If it's involved in young love and interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Another cool thing about the Ziz, the Leviathan, and the Behemoth, but especially the Leviathan and the Behemoth, is that in Jewish mythology, there are a lot of stories about how at the end of days, at the final banquet,
Right.
people will get to sometimes hunt these animals and then eat them.
Oh, God. You haven't lived till you've had Ziz fricassee.
Yeah, exactly. And a big slab of Leviathan chop.
Yes.
Sometimes also the banqueting tent will be made of the skin of the Leviathan or whatever.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are.
Do you guys
like-
remember the movie The Freshman? I feel like that's what we're.
That's right. Were they the gentleman's club that was secret and they would eat like the last of an endangered species?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I missed out on that film.
You're
but
probably too young for that. We're old guys, so
Right.
I don't know how young you are, but
I think it was one of
Too young.
Brando's last movies.
it was.
Yeah.
It was. It was
I'm
brilliant.
33, so I'm in my Jesus year right now.
Oh, okay.
Very
Congratulations.
excited to see what the Lord has planned for me.
Yeah. Go watch. Go watch. Look, it's COVID times. You got nothing else to do. Go watch the Freshman. You'll enjoy it. Matthew Broderick. It's fun.
Another cool thing about these mythological beasts is that there is only one of each,
Oh, okay.
because otherwise there would be like they would start reproducing and then the world would like run out of room because they're so gigantic.
Right. We would know about them.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
if there were more than one of them.
Yeah, so they're total one-offs. There's not like multiple Leviathans.
Correct.
It's like
Although
it's like
some,
Nessie.
Yes, exactly. Although some stories do have that there was originally a mating pair that God created on, the fifth day or whatever. But then like he castrated one of them so they couldn't reproduce.
One of them caught a cold.
Wow.
Another mythological bird in the Bible, and it is mentioned once in the canonical Bible, again in the book of Job, is the phoenix. I mean, we translate it as phoenix. It's not exactly the same. In Hebrew, it's the chol, but it is a bird that never dies. It instead of bursting into flames, it grows smaller and smaller, and then it reappears.
It just shrinks.
Yep, just shrinks.
Wow.
And there are legends that it's the only animal that didn't eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge when Eve offered it. Apparently, once Eve got a taste of that fruit, she was like, "You guys."
So wait, because every animal is
You
naked,
all gotta try
naked
this, yeah.
because animals are all naked and fornicate. Is that it?
I guess so, yeah.
She turned to the elephant behind her and was like, "You got to try this."
Just like, you have never tasted anything like this in your life. But the phoenix abstained, so the phoenix gets to live forever.
And just
drinking
kind
and
of
drinking.
get super small and then get big.
Yes.
So the phoenix is on, and I won't mention it, but on a severely dissociative drug that causes that kind of phenomenon mentally. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I could keep hitting you with these mythological beasts from the Bible.
give us another
for as
one.
long as you
I
want.
want to hear them. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, so there's
After,
another...
after you took unicorns away from me, I got real sad. So I'm enjoying.
I
some
can
of
tell you
them
more
back.
about the Re'em, which used to be translated more often as unicorn and now wild ox or oryx, Auroch.
Okay.
Which is the type of wild ox that you see in cave paintings.
Oh.
In modern Hebrew, it means oryx, Oryx, as in the antelope
Right.
that exists in Israel.
Yeah.
Those two words, turns out, are not related at all.
Interesting.
I thought oryx must be related. Nope, just a coincidence.
Weird.
Yeah.
But there is a myth that one day King David walked up the horn of a Re'em thinking it was a mountain. It was so big that he didn't realize he was standing on an animal.
Oh, okay. So not your average antelope then.
No, this is the mythical Re'em that only God can tame, and Job could not possibly hope to put a hook in its nose or whatever.
Well, King David probably needed a little alone time after he got scolded for his sexual dance in front of the ark.
Well, and the census too.
And
Don't
the
forget
census.
that.
So, yeah.
But unfortunately, the beast stood up, and then David found himself in the clouds accidentally. So God caused a lion to appear, and since the lion is the king of the beasts, the Ra'em had to bow to it,
Oh,
which allowed David to dismount.
that is a roundabout way. You'd think, look, God theoretically is going to be omnipotent. You'd think it could just say, okay, bow down, let him off. But I do like going about it with the with the angle of like, I'll summon a different beast.
Yes.
We'll just complicate things.
When you have a problem caused by an animal, you have to solve it with an animal. That's
More
just,
animals, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
just
it's
how
like the
things work.
NRA's argument in America. Right? More
You need a good
guns.
guy
Yeah.
with an animal. Yeah.
All right, hit us with one more mythical beast.
Okay, let's see. How about the Rahav?
Ooh.
In English we anglicize it as Rahab, but it's not the same as Rahab the prostitute
Right.
in the book of what is it, Joshua?
We talked about
Yeah,
Rahab, didn't we, Dan?
We definitely
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
the book.
Yeah, Rahab rules, but her name is Rahav, and then this is Rahav without the ch.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is another sea monster. He's very arrogant.
Typical.
God told him.
I like knowing personality traits of the mythical sea
Yes.
monsters.
This is actually his main thing is that he's arrogant and disobedient because God told him to drink all the water in the world, and he said, "I'm not thirsty, thanks."
What? Why did God want him to drink all the water in the world?
Unclear.
Oh, okay. Just
That's not for you to ask.
Was that a
whim?
post? Was
Did
that a
you
post-flood
create
solution?
Maybe.
little antediluvian
Yeah.
answers.
And that is also used as a poetic epithet for Egypt. Because it's like, oh, they're so arrogant they wouldn't drink all the water, I guess.
Those dicks. Probably they wouldn't even drink all the water in the world if you told them to.
And officially in modern Hebrew, the name for the planet Neptune is Rahav.
Really?
Because it's kind of like the closest thing to like a sea god,
Okay.
which Neptune is in Roman
Yeah.
mythology.
So that's modern Hebrew because obviously
Yeah.
the ancients did not know of Neptune.
Yes, but I think as far as I know, most people in Israel just call it Neptune. But there's like
interesting.
an official name for it as Rahav.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, and actually, interestingly, that planet will also not drink all of your water.
It's so annoying, honestly.
It makes a lot of sense, really, as a name.
My takeaway from all this is I'm really bummed that these stories are not in the Bible.
I know, right? They're so great. I love, like, something that I really have loved about my podcast is getting to research Jewish mythology from outside the Bible because it's often it's like got the same bones, but it's more like folkloric. It's kind of like in the book of Daniel, where you get all these cool like folklore stories.
Yeah.
And they're so cool, especially when you got animals involved.
Well,
Indeed.
So the Bible just got more boring. Great.
Yeah. Oh, I have one trivia fact for you about animals in the Bible.
Oh, tell us.
All right, hit us.
Cats are never mentioned.
Really?
Oh.
Domestic cats?
Never mentioned once.
Really?
You got dogs, you got lions, you got
Yeah.
horses, whatever. You got every type of bird that they could think of.
Every fucking bird. Locusts,
but,
crickets. Yeah.
Not a single cat.
Weird.
Wow.
That's super weird.
So the jury's out on whether cats chew their cud or not.
I think they have cloven hooves.
Yeah. And 6 legs. And that
I've never seen a cat.
that makes me love my cats all the more. So that they're not
Right?
in the Bible. Yay for that.
There you go.
Well, Lauren, thank you so much for this amazing and informative bestiary.
Well, thank
Yes,
you so
indeed.
much for having me on and letting
Let
me
us
talk
know-
about my favorite things.
Let our podcast listeners know where they can go to hear you expound further on the horrible things in the bad book.
So my podcast is called Sunday School Dropouts. I co-host it with my husband, Nico Bakulich. You can find it if you search for Sunday School Dropouts on any podcatcher. And it's on Twitter at SunschoolDrop. We do have an episode called Beasts of the Bible, which will rehash a lot of the stuff that you just heard, but it has some extra stuff too.
Thank you, Lauren O'Neal, so much for coming on. We sure
Thank
do
you so
appreciate
much for
it.
having me.
Then let's move on. Well, Uncle Dan,
Yeah.
Again, we're Douglas. We're going through some shit here on the show, but we're going to be all right.
Look, we're going through some shit in this country.
Well, I was going to say, I pay no attention to politics, like none.
Right.
But for some reason, for the first time in like 4 years, I found myself dancing in the shower this morning.
Interesting.
Like,
yeah,
I'm quite serious.
Almost able to breathe.
Yeah, I felt like something had changed.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. For those who are literally hiding under rocks, we should let you know that the United States of America did just have an election, and after several very tense days and weeks and months and years, the whole world can heave a sigh of relief that the country with the world's largest nuclear stockpile will soon no longer be run by a petulant, narcissistic, neo-fascist, inflatable circus peanut.
Yes, and thank you so much for like fucking Paris and German cities ringing your church bells in celebration. That was something. Yeah.
When the whole world breathes a sigh of relief when you lose your job, maybe reconsider your priorities.
Thanks for remaining our friends through some difficult moments here, guys.
Right. Yeah. All right. So the election of 2020, it was dominated by issues like the coronavirus and whether or not it is, a real thing that should be addressed by somebody.
Yeah.
And Black lives and the mattering thereof.
Yeah.
Oh, and the obvious conspiracy by the leftists to force everyone to accept the mark of the beast in the form of an implanted RFID microchip and the legalization of pedophilic child trafficking cabals. So, issues on both sides.
Yeah.
One of the key issues that has marked the Trump presidency has been immigration and who shouldn't be allowed into our once apparently great country and who definitely shouldn't. So here's a good rule of thumb for who Trumpers would let into the country. If they're white, then we might, and if they're brown, turn them down. Or more specifically, if they use words like "Donde está" or "Allahu Akbar," then yeah, it's a no from me, dog.
Yeah.
So this kind of anti-immigrant sentiment is not new to the Americas.
How the hell you say?
No. Honestly, those feelings go all the way back to the 1490s Hispaniola. But well after that first crop of immigrants insinuated themselves onto this continent, the idea of foreigners bad has popped up fairly regularly in our history. I want to talk about a time in America where there was a lot going on. It's the middle of the 1800s, and the United States has a lot on its plate. It was a new country, and we really hadn't worked out a lot of the kinks yet. Lewis and Clark scoped out all the land west of the Mississippi, and the U.S. was like, we'll take it! So we had a little war with Mexico over who got to rightfully kill all those Indians that were there first. And some folks in the North were getting really grumpy about the Southerners cheating at capitalism by using unpaid labor. Oh, and we were starting to get a little suspicious that Africans might actually be people, with rights and stuff.
Well, that's been resolved.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at that moment in history, everyone had a lot on their minds. The major political parties at the time were the Democratic Party and the Whig Party. Now, I don't have time to go into the complexities of those parties, but when I say Democrats, they were not at all related to the Democrats that we know and try to love today.
Yeah.
The Whigs were actually a pretty strong party. In 1849, for example, their candidate, Zachary Taylor, a hero of the Mexican-American War, won the presidency, which is really weird because he kind of hated politics and had, this is true, never voted in his life.
Really?
Really.
So he was the Kanye of that election.
Yeah, exactly. But he was a war hero, old rough and ready.
Yeah.
He was strong and powerful, and oops, nope, he's dead. 18 months into his presidency, he kicked the bucket, succumbing to what seems to be heat stroke. Then his vice president, Millard Fillmore, took over and signed the Fugitive Slave Act, and everybody was in a clamor, and shit completely fell apart for the Whigs. Now, a lot of people worked to fill that void. The Republican Party arose on a largely anti-slavery platform, again, not connected to the current Republican Party, even though they're mostly still against slavery. Mostly. But slavery wasn't the only issue of the time. There was another issue that was burning in the U.S. You see, the American democracy experiment had gained fans all over the world, and all over Europe in particular. Popular uprisings called for an end to the top-down rule of the millennia past and demanded that the people get a voice. And when that didn't happen, disaffected people flocked to the United States by the thousands. And thus began the terrifying scourge, the worst thing to hit the United States since okra. It was the Catholics! Yeah, you thought American religious hatred was about Muslims? Psh, they're Johnny-come-latelys.
Yeah.
No, it's Catholics. Those were the real plague.
Yep.
Now, fear of Catholics in the United States was not new. Quote-unquote founding father Samuel Adams wrote a lovely screed in the 1700s about how important religious tolerance was, except for Catholics. Obviously, we can't tolerate them. Yeah. They have a pope who could tell them what to do. And what if they then take power? We'd all be subject to a pope. So, of course, he was more fresh from Europe when Protestant clashes with the pope were very real. But still, they hated the Catholics.
Yeah.
The reasons for hating Catholics were different in the mid 1800s. This was because all of those Europeans flowing into the United States from Germany and Ireland were awful. They weren't the good Germans and Irish. They were drug dealers. They were criminals. They're rapists. They're taking our jobs.
Yeah.
And they were Catholics. So in the 1840s, nativism became the watchword. As a matter of fact, a political party known as the Native American Party formed, which was all about promoting the rights of Native Americans. And of course, by Native Americans, I mean white people who were born here.
Yeah.
Obviously, what did you think I meant?
Can't mean anything else.
No. Native Americans, like you and me, Mark.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah. So by 1844, anti-Catholic sentiment was so high that there were riots. For instance, people in Philadelphia, hi Philadelphia, we like you now.
Hey Philly.
But of course this was going to be Philadelphia. We're so fed up with new rules that allowed things like, for example, Catholic children to leave Bible study in school because the public schools used the Protestant King James Bible rather than the Catholic one. They were so upset about this that one crusader in Philly at the time, a man named Charles Louis Levin, or Levin, that's right, he was Jewish because everything is complicated. He ended up running for office on an anti-Catholic platform, which
as a
then
Jew in
led,
America.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which led to rioting, which then led to Levin becoming our country's first Jewish member of the House of Representatives. Progress!
Something, I guess.
Yeah. Well, by the 1850s, groups started forming to tackle the Catholic problem. Secretive groups. Very secretive groups. The first rule of the Order of the Star-Spangled Banner is that you do not talk about the Order of the Star-Spangled Banner. So much so that if you were asked about it, you were to say that you knew nothing. These orders started in New York, but very soon spread to every major city in the country. And despite the fact that nobody knew anything about it, people started to get wise to what was going on. And pretty soon, the Know-Nothings were America's worst-kept secret. And that derisive nickname, the Know-Nothings, actually stuck.
So that's where that came from? I knew about the party, but I guess I never knew where the name came from.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, they were all supposed to keep everything hush-hush and just say that they knew nothing. And they got popular fast. In 1854, Know-Nothings were so big that they swept the state elections in Massachusetts to the tune of all but 3 of the 400 seats in the Massachusetts state legislature were Know-Nothings.
Whoa.
And, true to their name, only 35 had any legislative experience.
That was in Massachusetts.
Correct.
Which is so funny because, now Massachusetts you just think of as one of you think of, that's like the Catholic state.
Right.
That
exactly.
and Louisiana are like the Catholic states, right?
Yeah. But probably because there were so many Catholic immigrants coming in, which is why everybody was voting for people that hated Catholics as much as they did.
Yeah.
They're basically the only qualifications that most of these Massachusetts politicians had was that they hated Catholic immigrants the right amount. More violence happened in 54. Know-Nothings tarred and feathered a Catholic priest in Ellsworth, Maine. And in Bath, Maine, an anti-Catholic riot ended in a Catholic church being burned. In 1855, the national elections produced 43 representatives who were Know-Nothings.
Wow.
Who decided that they should probably have an official name, so they ended up calling themselves, quote, the American Party, officially, which is kind of a dick move to claim that you're the only party of America.
Sure, but baller. It's a baller move.
Yeah, but they didn't want to come right out and call themselves the if you weren't born here, then get the fuck out party. So it's clunky. Yeah. It's clunkier. In 1855, also it was a big year for Catholic/immigrant hatred. In Kentucky, there was a tight governor's race. A fun little conspiracy theory started going around that there was that the massive new German and Irish populations, who were suddenly a third of the population of Louisville, were going to commit voter fraud by voting.
Voting, huh?
Yeah, which actually many of them didn't have the right to do yet because they weren't citizens. But this led to, quote, Bloody Monday, where mobs of Protestants attacked the German and Irish Catholic neighborhoods, killing 22, injuring just scores of people, and inflicting massive property damage. Wow. Only 5 people were indicted in all of that. 0 convictions, 0 compensation to victims. The American way.
Same as it ever was, Dan.
Yes, indeed. Anyone who's trying to draw parallels between this and now is up a tree. As far
You're
as
a
I'm
fool.
concerned. Silly.
Yeah.
Silly stuff. In 1856, there was another big presidential race. Know-Nothings run Millard Fillmore, who had not been chosen by his own party to rerun for office after being president after Taylor died. He had already been president. Not a bad idea to nominate him. Interestingly, they may have nominated him without asking his permission. He was out of the country at the time and had never shown any allegiance to them or even attended any Know-Nothing gatherings before. But he got back, they told him about it, and he wanted to be president and really liked the fact that the Know-Nothings were pretty much silent on the slavery issue because, that gotten him in some trouble before. And it had basically destroyed his former party. So he was pretty quiet about immigration, and instead focused on keeping the Union together and accepted the nomination. His strategy didn't work. He came in third after the Democratic candidate Buchanan, who won, and the Republican Fremont. Fillmore narrowly lost several southern states. In the end, he had 21% of the popular vote and got only 8 electoral college votes from cute little Maryland.
Oh, good for you, Maryland.
Yeah. And here's the thing. In the middle of the 1800s, the strategy of being wishy-washy on slavery and only caring about hating Catholics, as strange as it may seem, was not destined to do well. And the Know-Nothings started to fall apart faster than the Whigs did. As Abraham Lincoln wrote in a letter dated 24 August of 1855, "I'm not a know-nothing, that is certain. How could I be? How could anyone who abhors the oppression of Negroes be in favor of degrading classes of white people? Our progress in degeneracy appears to me to be pretty rapid. As a nation, we began by declaring that all men are created equal. We now practically read it, all men are created equal except Negroes. When the Know-Nothings get control, it will read, all men are created equal except Negroes and foreigners and Catholics."
Wow. Okay, Abe.
Yeah, he went on to say, "When it comes to that, I should prefer emigrating to some country where they make no pretense of loving liberty. To Russia, for instance, where despotism can be taken pure and without the base alloy of hypocrisy."
Oh my God.
So,
Like, the more things change.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't it feel? It just feels like history. It doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
It definitely rhymes.
Yeah. So the Know-Nothings in the South were pro-slavery. In the North, they were anti-slavery. It turned into a big mess because when your party is founded on just hating one group of people, not everybody can line up on the other issues.
I'm just thinking about Republicans in one state yelling "stop the count" and in another state saying "keep counting." Yeah. I don't know why that came to mind. It's just a weird
that's
thing.
weird.
Just happened in my head.
I don't know what that would be about. But
sorry,
yes,
I interrupted you. Continue.
Eventually, quite almost as quickly as they ascended, this briefly very powerful party disintegrated, and we were left with Republicans and Democrats, who I can't emphasize enough, have no bearing on the current Republican Party and Democratic Party.
Nope. It's everything. History. If history ended yesterday and started again tomorrow morning, that's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly. So
we live in a beautiful Ghazi now.
So there you go. I just wanted to talk about a time not unlike our own when hatred ruled the day briefly, and then as quickly as they arrived.
Boy, that name is so hilariously on the nose, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, and it's, from what I can tell, they kind of embraced it. It's almost like the Deplorables. They
that's
just
true.
Owned their own shit for a minute, and then we moved on.
It's too bad that the Four Seasons Total Landscaping didn't exist back then, so that they could announce their legal comeback. In 18 whatever. So wow, that's cautionary tales, people.
Yes, indeed. Those who don't know their history are condemned to watch the idiots repeat it.
Yeah, are literally going to fucking repeat it. So wonderful. I'm glad things went a certain way, so this story doesn't seem as terrifying as it would have a few days ago.
Right. Oh, believe me, I waited until I knew for a fact that we were going to be okay before I used this as my topic. But there we are. Good news. Our next president's not going to be orange, and Catholics. And
he's a Catholic.
Now the Catholics have taken over our whole Supreme Court. So
and the presidency.
Look how far they've come.
Yeah, good. You've come a long way, baby. Well, with that, let us move on.
Uncle Mark.
I am here as always.
Yeah, look,
Unlike Doug,
who's not here right now. And here's the thing. I think we need to I think maybe our listeners need to coax Uncle Doug back onto the show.
We can buy his love. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow we need to show him that he needs to come back. And the best way is for people to give us money. And so we've had some folks who have done that. And I want to offer some thanks to them. Thank you so much to Adam, to Ben, to Tasty Trollbait, And to Mary for being our most recent donors there on Patreon. And we've got one more. You've got one that's a one-time donation.
Yes, that's right. We got a lovely one-time donation from our new PayPal function that you can also find at the site, and that is from Jonesy. So Jonesy, thank you.
And so any of you that want to see a future that has an Uncle Doug in it, please feel free to, or if you don't, either way, you let your vote be in the form of money by going to howtoheretic.com. You click on the support us thing, and it'll guide you through. It's super easy. It's fun to give us money, so really please enjoy yourself by doing that. And if you can't do that, we totally understand. Please go ahead and give us 5 stars, write a review.
Yeah.
It helps us out.
Yeah, if the show's been helpful to you, the writing reviews and giving us 5 stars actually makes it appear to more people. So think about them, not just yourself. And or if you can't think about them, just think about us. Give us 5 stars. What do you have to lose?
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Hey, Uncle Dan.
Yes.
Way back in episode 160.
Lo those many moons ago.
Lo those months ago. We had a little chat about the very peculiar and very hypnotic culture of the semi-annual Mormon General Conference. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What a wonderful time we had.
Everybody loves to hear about boring Mormons being boring.
Well, not everybody, Dan.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we got some pushback about that.
Trouble in paradise.
Some very, very high-level pushback. And it came from the upper floors of the Vertical Vatican in downtown Salt Lake City. And here at the How To Heretic, we are nothing if not fair. So, in the interest of preserving the precious and completely fucking flawed notion that both sides of an argument are equally valid,
right,
we've invited 3 towering figures of the LDS church leadership here to rebut our position. So, heretics, please welcome from beyond the veil, Elder Boyd K. Packer.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored.
Wow. A ghost is appearing on our show. This both blows the doors off of our claim, our ostensible claim that there is no afterlife, and possibly refutes what we had to say about General Conference being boring. Elder Packer, tell us a bit about your view. We claimed that General Conference, Mormon General Conference, was, if not designed as functionally, it was merely torture for the many members of your church.
3 hours to prevent boys from masturbating, I think is what it was.
I would agree. Now that I've passed on, I've realized what a boring general sessions they were. And now, on the other side, I see the light. I've masturbated. I masturbate in heaven. It's a wonderful thing.
Wow. Your little factory's going nuts, huh?
Yeah, it's a big factory now.
Well, welcome, Brother Boyd. And also, you guys, this is a triple threat today. And also, back from his own celestialized planet, please welcome prophet, seer, and revelator, and recent past president of Mormonism, Inc., Thomas S. Monson.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about some serious topics.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And we're very excited to hear about how things are beyond the veil.
Wonderful.
So you're most welcome, Your Former Excellency, and from right here in this mortal probation, please welcome Apostle Jeffrey R. Holland. Welcome, Elder Holland.
I only have one question as to why you would ask me on this very irreverent and ungodly podcast. Why? Why are you doing the devil's work?
Well, I understand that you're upset, and you were upset with our segment, and we're going to give you every opportunity to talk about that. But let me introduce one final guest, and that is I tricked you. That wasn't, audience, I tricked you, and I tricked you, Uncle Dan. That wasn't any of those guys. It was just this one guy. You may know him as one of the clever kids from the K-pop and the hippity hop, and of course, the TikTok. who calls himself Genie Man, but he is and always will be Utah's own Mitch Shira, actor and online comedy Mormon impersonator. Mitch, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, I
Yes.
tricked everyone. Everyone thought that they were all there on your podcast. So
Everyone definitely thought that. Definitely.
Yeah, I think the show title might be "It's a Big Factory Now." So we'll have to see.
yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, and for those of you outside of the Mormon spectrum, I hope you'll just enjoy this anyway. Mitch is kind of a bit of a Mormon spectrum hip hop TikTok star because he does these impressions of Mormon general authorities and prophets and whatnots online, and it's kind of a wonderful thing. And so, Mitch, why don't you tell us a little bit about your life in the church, your journey out, and your journey to Genie Man?
Yeah, well, man, what a long story. You sitting down because this takes about 5 hours.
Try and make it not quite as boring as a church service.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
right.
an elevator pitch, but in the elevator in the church office building. So you got a little time.
So you got some time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I was born and raised in the church, born in the covenant. Was very faithful, had a very faithful family. 8 brothers, so we had a huge family going to church. And
You ate your brothers?
yeah, I ate my brothers, and that's where it all started.
Was it all boys at your house?
yeah, all boys. So 9 boys altogether, including me.
Jesus.
Wow.
So yeah, we were, I guess we were the traditional, typical Mormon family. Lots of kids. I did the whole 9 yards. I went to primary. I always went to Boy Scouts and did the whole young men's and prepared for my mission, went on a mission, full 2-year mission, and went to South Korea. And I absolutely loved it. Even though, later in life I realized everything I was peddling was bullshit, but no,
But you didn't know that at the time.
I did not. I was a huge advocate for quote unquote the truth. So I would just bear my testimony and let the Spirit do the rest.
How did the Koreans receive that?
It's I guess technically speaking, it is a compared to Mormon standards, or if you compare missions, but it is a harder mission to get conversions. And they were, and what's really interesting is actually you would think that there are the predominant religion over there is actually half and half. Half of them are Buddhist, and the other half are Christian. And so even clear over in Korea, I would confront Korean pastors that would pull out their Bible, and then they'd be like, Joseph Smith did this and this and this, right? And I'd be like, lies.
And they're pretty evangelical, right? It's like
Yes,
pretty evangelical Christianity.
Yeah. So even over in South Korea, it was a lot of, I ran into a lot of Korean Christians that really did not like Mormons or Joseph Smith. And I don't know why. I still haven't figured that out to this day, but
What's not to like?
I know. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I served a full 2 years, loved it, strengthened my testimony, got back, found a wife as I was counseled to do as quickly as possible. Got married.
So within about a week, right?
Within about a week. And had 2 beautiful daughters. And it was about that time, a little after the birth of my second daughter, that I just started to realize some things about the church that I didn't like, and started out with just doctrinal issues, a very traditional point of view of basically, I guess the best way to say it is I started to see I was reading the New Testament at the time, and I started to see the LDS church as Christ described the Sadducees and Pharisees. I was like, wait a minute, this is awfully close to what the Mormon church does as compared to what the Sadducees and Pharisees did. So that was my trajectory. I just started really diving into a lot of the doctrinal things that I questioned, and
Well, that's your problem right there.
I know.
You're not supposed
studied
to.
it.
You're not supposed to think about those things.
No, I'm
And at some point,
it's okay if you think about it, but as long as you don't act on it, you're fine.
yeah. At some point, did you bump into the CES letter, or was this prior to that?
This was prior to that, but it was not long after that. My buddy, my childhood friend, he and his wife had left about a year or two before, and he introduced me to that. He said, "Hey, he knew that I was kind of questioning some things, but I was still very strong in the church. I wasn't planning on leaving." And he said, "If you want to study some more, then you should look at this letter or this document." And I read it, and man, that rocked my world. But it made sense at that time. I was like, well, after the shock kind of settled, I thought, this isn't far off. I've been having a lot of questions and things have been not hitting me right, and now this explains a lot of it.
Yeah, and so would you describe what we call your shelf breaking sometime around that time?
Yeah, that was around when my shelf started to crack and break, and then about 2016, 17, I officially just said, you know what, I can't be honest and go to church and say I believe in this crap anymore, so I stopped.
Nice.
And you got the benefit of not having to listen to all those guys that you were just doing impersonations of anymore.
That's true. Yeah, and it's so crazy how I'm sure you guys all know once you come out of the bubble, you go from a believing member of like drinking from the palms of those men's hands. You're like, wow, this is wonderful. Oh, what's he gonna say next? And then you come out and you're like, man, I was an idiot. What was I thinking? Like now I'll see a general conference talk and be like, oh, this is so damn boring, and they're just saying the same things they've been saying for the last 200 years. So,
well, and you weren't exaggerating with those impressions. It's like, I don't know if you watched The Vow on HBO, which is about the Nexium cult. But they kept talking about Nancy Saltzman, who was one of the founding members, one of the big higher ups there, who had studied neuro-linguistic programming, which is has to do with like talking in a very slow, methodical manner and sort of lulling people into a sense of into a
semi-conscious
crazy
state.
almost a trance state where then they were susceptible to suggestion or whatever. And the more they talked about it, the more I was like, I grew up with that. That was that was inflicted on me.
Yes.
So tell us about how you decided to start. I mean, obviously you're a voice actor, right?
Yes. I mean, I guess I should say an aspiring actor / voice actor. I just graduated 2019 with my degree in theater. And so I'm just a young little, I guess, a baby in the acting world, just starting out.
A whippersnapper.
But a talented impressionist / voice actor. And so did you just start doing that to the general authorities to just kind of amuse yourself?
So while I was an active member, I actually did impressions of mainly of Gordon B. Hinckley, and that was my first. I actually learned that one on my mission. I would just start imitating him, and I would leave. I would, when I was like district leader, I would call some missionaries to get them to give me their numbers, and I would do it as Gordon B. Hinckley.
Oh, it's a good prank.
Yeah, and then I just went on from there and started learning Monson, Perry, and so as a member, a lot of members actually enjoyed it because I usually would talk about little things like what they were doing for Christmas or Easter, or just something like that, and so
good wholesome impressions.
And so after leaving the church this last summer. I'd been about 2 years out of the church, and I finally bit the bullet, downloaded TikTok, and I was sitting there, and I found the ex-Mormon community on TikTok, and it was beautiful, and I was like, wow, people are sharing their experiences. There was some humor, and it was really healing, and I was like, I'd like to contribute to this. And then I was like, well, but duh, I know how to do these.
Right. Oh my God, I have a particular set of skills.
And so I could actually really make fun of these quote unquote holy men who did so much damage being leaders of the church, and really throw them under the bus. And it's cathartic. At first I will admit it was pretty. There were a couple times where it was tough. My Mormon brain kind of took over, and it was like, you're not doing good, Mitch. You're speaking ill of the Lord's anointed, and their families are going to be so disappointed. Your family, if they find this. And I just had to look past that and go, no, I don't. I'd remind myself, first of all, hey, Mitch, guess what? It's bullshit. Remember? and then remind myself the reason I got into acting in the first place. I love trying to make a change. I love putting smiles on people's faces. I love interacting that way. And so I knew that even though the content, according to some Mormons and actually some ex-Mormons, it's a little dark. I get a little dark humor, but it's healing for me. And I know a few have reached out to me letting me know that it's healing for them as well. And so that's why I do it.
Well,
have you heard back from any current Mormons just telling you that you're so mean?
Yes, I've tried to learn to let those comments roll off my back, because usually they'll say something like, the most common is like, wow, Satan is really hard at work these days. And the typical rhetoric of an active member or a Christian that's just like, oh, you're doing the devil's work. Or, another favorite is, what do they say? It was prophesied that the most chosen and elect would fall away. And it's just like, okay, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Shut up. So before we ask you to kind of have some fun with it, I just want to, for non-Mormon listeners who may not be aware of who these guys really are and how richly they deserve this kind of treatment, which is actually quite gentle, really. I'm going to read a couple things that some of these guys have said. This is Boyd K. Packer, who we'll enjoy in a minute with Mitch, who one of many things he said was, while I was in a mission on one occasion, a missionary said he had something to confess. After patient encouragement, he finally blurted out, "I hit my companion." "Oh, is that all?" I said in great relief. "But I floored him," he said. After learning a little more, my response was, "Well, thanks. Somebody had to do it, and it wouldn't be well for a general authority to solve the problem that way. And I am not recommending that, of course, course to you, but I am not omitting it." That is him talking about a missionary hitting what he found out was a gay companion. And
I think you mean, by hitting, you mean taking appropriate action.
Exactly. And here he is again, discussing homosexuality in general conference. "There is a falsehood that some are born with an attraction to their own kind. With nothing they can do about it, they are just that way, and can only yield to those desires. That is a malicious and destructive lie. While it is a convincing idea to some, it is of the devil." Here is Thomas S. Monson, who we'll hear again on this show. In 1970, he said, 1970 marked the 50th anniversary of the right of women to vote in the United States. And from this base came a description of the goals and demands that are now being made by some women: free abortion, free child care, and equal employment. You can imagine.
How dare they?
And then one last thing. This is Boyd K. Packer again, because it's so much is attributed to him. Mm-hmm. "There is a temptation for the writer or the teacher of church history to want to tell everything, whether it is worthy or faith-promoting or not. Some things that are true are not very useful." So these are not what I would call good men. So mm-hmm. I think they have that coming. And I found the TikTok to our recording system interface very problematic, Mitch. So I wonder if you could just kind of paraphrase maybe, one or two of the things you've done on TikTok in character.
Yeah. One of the earlier ones, I guess for Packer, I did talk about little factories. In one of them.
Yeah.
But
that's a reference, just so that people know, that's a reference to, was it a talk that he gave, or pamphlet that he put out?
I think it was a combination. He gave a talk, and it may have been based on the pamphlet that he released.
It was a multimedia presentation.
Sure. It was a film strip.
But Packer is notorious for being one of the most homophobic leaders. And so one of the things I did was basically, I guess, part of my platform is to have the general authorities confess. And so for Packer, it was more of like a confession that what he had done may have been wrong, and he's just starting to realize it. So it was more of like, let's see if I can.
Several years ago, at the University of Brigham Young, we did things there that were not right in the sight of the Lord. We performed shock therapy, where we would electrify their genitals to see if they would get aroused as we showed them male pornography, in which I would also get aroused, and so naturally I shocked my own penis.
Stuff, stupid stuff like that.
Wow.
Very, very.
And that's pretty dark, considering that is legit what happened at BYU.
Yes, and that's some ex-members will say, "Hey, this is healing, but it's also triggering at the same time because it's so real." It's like, okay,
yeah. So you kind of voice these guys, kind of admitting to their crimes, right?
Yeah, basically doing what they should, teaching what, and apologizing, or being the humans that maybe they should have been in those instances, instead of especially claiming to be true followers of Christ. I mean, and so it's more
and having revelation, right?
Having revelation for the one true church. So basically, what that would be like if they actually were doing the right thing.
Well, I thought we could have a little fun here to kind of close out the segment, and so we've asked Mitch to dig deep and to channel these personages, and we thought it might be fun to have you do some dramatic readings as one of your venerated Mormon professions. So,
all right,
if you're down with it, why don't we start with Elder Holland giving an emotional reading of Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham.
All right, let me grab Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Is this the reason that I was brought on this show? To read this bull crap?
That's all we got for you.
I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere.
Wow, that might be the truest thing he ever said.
Yeah.
That's probably how he read stories to his kids at night.
The most sincere. And then, of course, I think it might be really illuminating for people to hear President Thomas S. Monson, recently deceased President Thomas S. Monson, reading from Cameo's 1986 R&B smash hit, Word Up.
So before you do that, I just want to put a picture in our listeners' heads. Those of you who weren't Mormon, just imagine Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and you'll have a pretty good analog.
But like 6'4" at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Is this what I'm supposed to read? Word up. All right. Quote, yo, pretty ladies around the world, got a weird thing to show you. So tell all the boys and the girls, tell your brother, your sister, and your mama too. Because we're about to go down, and you know just what to do. Wave your hands in the air like you don't care. Glide by the people as they start to look and stare. And finally, bring us... Oh, that was it.
Word up, President
Word
Munson. Excellent. Well done.
Oh.
And then, of course, we need a kind of a bright emotional note to finish on. And that brings us to the very demented mind of Boyd K. Packer, reading from the lyrics of Nine Inch Nails' Hurt, their industrial ballad of pain and alienation from their 1994 album Downward Spiral. Brother Packer, if you would.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole. The old familiar string, try to kill it all away. But I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend, everyone I know, goes away in the end. Close call.
In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Well, I think that is going to absolutely destroy our Exmo listeners, and a lot of other people are going to hopefully be enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
So Mitch, that's fantastic. Thank you. If people want to find you and see more of your work and see some of these amazing TikToks, what should they do?
Right now TikTok is the main one. They can reach out to me on Facebook if they want to message me for anything. I'm also doing, so I guess message me on TikTok or Facebook.
And what on Facebook, are you Mitch Shira or are you Genie Man?
On Facebook, I am Mitchell Gene Shira.
Okay.
So MITCHELGNESHIRA.
And TikTok. Now I'm an older guy, so TikTok, is that a Twitter? Is that I'm not 100% familiar with.
It's more, it's like.
Is it a meme? Is that what it is? I hear about these memes.
A meme.
It's kind of like the Urim and Thummim of our day. You just kind of look into it and see revelation after revelation.
Nice.
So.
And they're your Genie _man, right?
Correct. And I do. I'm still trying to set up some things. But I'm doing, personal birthday wishes and general authorities voices or voicemail messages or anything for parties that you want me to pre-record. Just reach out to me and I'm starting to work that way as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I thought that was a hoot.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. It was a hoot. I always love making fun of those old, terrible men.
And we'll be sure to put a trigger warning at the beginning of the show about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. With that, let's move on. Well, friends, that's it for this week's show.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. If you do an impression of any members of any leaders of your church, please send us an email at howto@howtoheretic.com.
Or if you are a giant zizzbird, leave us a voicemail about it at 903-88-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986. I'm also on Twitter at HowToHeretic.
Yeah, thanks so much to all of our patrons.
And thanks to Cody Layton for editing the show.
And thanks to you, dear friend, for tuning in. Bye-bye.